and welcome back to the Modeling Success in Action podcast. My name is Jessica, and today I am joined by my fabulous friend here, Martina. So, Martina spent most of her life in Croatia, with some time in New York and Italy, but her journey took a significant turn when she moved to Vancouver in 2016 with just a suitcase and a backpack. Surprisingly, her choice of city was influenced by Wreck Beach. Arriving without connections or job prospects, she quickly found work as a daily porter at the Sheraton Wall Centre. Starting from scratch, she embraced the challenges of immigration, where skills and experience often take a backseat to immediate survival. Her dedication to excellence, even in cleaning, was noticed early on. And though she had no idea it would lead her to start her own cleaning company, CleanCa, 4 years later. Beyond entrepreneurship, Martina is an aspiring actress with a theater and screen experience and is training in the LESAC holistic approach to body, voice, and movement. She's also deeply involved in BNI, where she helps others grow their businesses while expanding her own. And currently, she's serving as a chapter consultant for 2 BNI BC chapters. Welcome, Martina. That's quite the list of accomplishments, and it spanning countries and decades, and I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm very excited to be here as well.
So, I mean, I want to dive right in. And, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on here is because you do have such a varied, experience of what it's like to really start from scratch in a whole new way. So, I would love to hear you tell us a little bit of the beginnings of your story, and how'd you get here?
I got here by plane.
You mean you didn't swim across?
No, no, no. Yeah, I could have taken the boat. No, I arrived here with the plane. I was very lucky when I first arrived. I found my first lodging or a place to stay through a homestay. I found a wonderful Croatian family. They hosted me, and I stayed there for first couple of months. What I'm seeing recently, because with my company, CleanCa Cleaning Services, I very often work with immigrants, and it's a really big challenge to find that first job. Sometimes it can take them months. So I was very lucky, or maybe I wasn't. Um, well, I decided to take on the first job that I was able to get. And that was working as a daily porter at Sheraton Wall Centre. What does daily porter do? You go around the hotel, common areas, and you just pick up the garbage and clean glass. That's what I did. But yeah, it's quite a challenge for immigrants really to land that first job. And there's lots of insecurity also in communication and how you communicate, because every country or language forms your communication. So coming to a foreign country, learning how to communicate in a different language can be quite challenging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had lots of friends who come from other countries, and they say, my personality is different in my native tongue, which is wild.
Absolutely. Every time I go back home to Croatia, I'm actually surprised that I cannot express myself anymore in Croatian language, because it's a completely different mindset. Language is a culture, so it is affecting your personality, identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
then how was it for you, the experience of, learning a personality, a new culture for yourself when you moved here?
Well, I have to say that I don't know if I was lucky, just lucky, or might be a part of my positive attitude. Um, you just keep on going and you go after what you think that you want to achieve. Um, I mean, what I found about Vancouver, and I'm really like I'm Canadian now, thank God. But what I found about Vancouver and the Canadian people, Canada is the best stepmother that you could have ever imagined, because wherever I reached out to, or whoever I reached out to, I would always, you know, talk to those people. People are very open and approachable and willing to help you out either with information or anything else. So my experience immigrating to Canada was really, really, really a good one. Yeah.
That's really awesome to hear because I mean, as Canadians, we do have a certain reputation over the world as being, warm and hospitable and friendly, Oh, sorry. So, so to hear that, your assimilation and immigration was, nice and seamless, and
Yeah.
and to call it the stepmother, because of course Croatia will always be your mother, your home, right?
Yeah.
But yes, but okay. So tell me a little bit about, the transition from being, a trained actress and then coming here and all of a sudden, you know, opening up your own business and getting into like this business and networking world so heavily. Was there crossover? Was it a culture shock in that way too?
Well, honestly, my intention was when I first moved here to pursue acting, as I did back in Croatia as well. And it's it's really a challenge to become a successful actor, especially probably when you're an immigrant, right? And then you have to kind of like find a ways how to settle, how to do pay all the lawyers or all the expenses that you have in becoming a PR to getting your PR or citizenship. um, so there are lots of elements of your life before you stabilize your life. And well, luckily Vancouver offers really so many different acting workshops and outlets, and there are so many different networking events, or they used to be. Maybe I was a little bit more engaged with all of these activities before the pandemic started. And then pandemic started, and well, uh, it seemed to me it was a perfect opportunity because we were receiving serve, right? So it was seemed like a perfect opportunity for me. Okay, what do I do now? Like, wow, this is great. Maybe I can start my own business. But at that time, why did I start with a cleaning business? I realized that I really loved serving people because I was working as a restaurant server in a restaurant as well. I realized I really loved serving people. Back home, I would always I loved cleaning. I really loved cleaning, and I loved serving, providing services. I loved making other people happy, um, enhance the quality of their lives. So I connected the dots, and I was like, okay, I could start a cleaning company. And again, when I started developing this idea, I started making phone calls to different cleaning companies, and they were all willing to help me with their advice, pricing, what products they're using, what systems they're using, what software they're using, like what do I need to do to start my own business? Which I don't think that I would find that kind of a support in Croatia, to be fully honest. So that is really beautiful. It feels like in Vancouver specifically, like whatever you desire to do, you can actually do because there's so much support and everyone is willing to help you. So yeah, in 2020, I started CleanCa. Um, and then in 2021, I joined BNI by accident because
By
I was,
accident?
yeah, I was actually, it was the beginning of my first couple of months of my cleaning business. So I wanted to see how other cleaning businesses are operating. And then I saw an ad there was on Craigslist. They're looking, the cleaning company, exterior cleaning company, they were looking for someone to distribute their flyers. And I went there just to do my like research to see how does their warehouse look like, what are those flyers, how do they look like, how much do they pay, how much it's going to take me to distribute those flyers. And then through the conversation, I realized actually Cameron, who is a member of BNI in Richmond, Driven Dragons, he introduced me to BNI, and then I became a member of BNI 2021, which made a whole difference in my life in all ways, professional and private.
So for context, right now it's 2025, so that's a 4 year long accident. So it must it must have worked when you fell into it. It must have been, something useful. Yeah.
Oh, extremely so useful. First of all, we get to present each week, which gave me an opportunity to, speak in public every week, to get prepared, to really to develop those relationships with other professionals, to be accountable all the time. But as I'm going to say it again, as an immigrant, you come here without any connections. And coming into BNI, I've learned so much about other businesses uh, and opportunities there are, which I don't think that I would be able to find anywhere else.
It's true.
Yeah.
You really do. You get an access to a wide variety of professionals that you otherwise may not, because for me, I'm in like the health and wellness world. So before I started really networking with any sort of purpose, I was meeting health and wellness people, lots and lots of health and wellness people, but I wasn't meeting lawyers or people who owned auto body like repair shops or cleaning companies. Like that was not something
Mm,
that I was running across all the time. And now I'm like, yeah, I know 5 lawyers, and
yeah.
then right. So it's kind of cool having the access to build the community that you're looking for in that way. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now you said you came to Vancouver with the hope to be doing the acting thing. So
Uh-huh.
what
How did
what
that
had
work out?
yeah, well, you know what? I feel like we're Hollywood North, right? Like that's not an uncommon thing to hear, is people going, "Yeah, I came here. That was the intention." And so what's happening there? Do you still act? Do you still, get to have fun and enjoy, doing that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, for sure. I do have an agent, and as a lot of people know, auditions are really not so common nowadays, and it's been tough couple of years, but we are hoping that things are gonna change soon. But yeah, I'm still auditioning. I have a very good agent, and but you have to also start relying on your own self, right? And start creating your own products. Yeah, I acted in a couple of theater plays, lots of short films. I've done all those, all those things you have to do when you are starting from scratch. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows anything about your background or about your experience. There is an accent as well that I have, and that I will never give up on. As long as I can speak with clarity, I am satisfied. But yeah, so yeah, this Saturday, for example, I have a stage reading of a play that I'm looking forward to produce one day. We have a stage reading, and then also there's a French coming up soon, correct? And I'm very
Yes.
excited about this opportunity that I will be sharing with you as well, because you're going to have your French play as well at the French Festival this year.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, both Martina and myself have been drawn for the Fringe lottery this year, which is amazing. So Fringe is running in September down on Granville Island and a few other locations throughout the city. And yeah, I'm going to be doing the hypnosis show, and Martina is creating her own project, which is really kind of cool. And she's keeping it very close to the chest. She hasn't told me too much about it. Every time we talk, she's going, "Yes, yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Are you done?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's actually, I think it's going to be more like it is a work in process. So it is going to be more like a storytelling, because throughout, like, starting this cleaning company, I've had so many situations. For example, when I was applying to get a grant from Work BC to go to the on the mic training, voiceover school, I remember specifically the moment I was down on my knees scrubbing the toilets and the toilet in one client's home, and I received a phone call that I received a grant, right? So there are like so many. It's an interesting journey, right? Or how I enjoy, for example, when I go cleaning, what do you listen to? What do you get? I listen to, I don't know, my Lesak master teachers. their programs. Anyways, so I'm trying to come in the story that I'm going to tell. I'm working on integrating that into my story, cleaning into the story of an want to become successful actor, working actor.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the stereotype is the working actor doing service in the food industry, and you're still, figuring out a way to use that drive towards service. But it's when I was reading your bio and we mentioned this Lesak style of acting, and that it is this holistic, integration of the body, the voice. How are you utilizing that? Like, do you bring that into the way that you're approaching business or even networking or relationships with people? How do you combine this holistic body work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lesak is a method or technique, an approach to body voice that I got introduced to when I was still studying acting in Croatia. So we had it for 2 years of my postmasters in Croatia. And then in 2019, I got a scholarship for the intensive in Greencastle, Indiana. And then last year, I took another intensive in Conway, Arkansas. And then I went through facilitation training. So that's it's a huge body of work. But to answer your question, my intention actually with Lesak is to help immigrants. Lesak, we call it a body voice. Everything starts with a breath, and very often I can see people speaking in public that there might not be fully present because speaking in public is one of the worst fears that people have, right? Besides death, I think. Uh, So this technique really enables people to speak with confidence, to be present, to know what to do with their bodies, with their breath, and with their voice. And why my intention is to work with immigrants is because I can see a lot of immigrants. I'm working with a lot of them through my company. I can see that a lot of them, even though their background might be completely different, some of them are lawyers, some of them were dentists. I also have degrees. And then you go and a lot of those immigrants tend to stay within their communities where they feel comfortable speaking their own language. They avoid um, putting themselves out there to speak, communicate on an everyday basis, or they tend to hide themselves in jobs where they don't need to communicate because they just don't feel comfortable. And the Lesak technique would definitely is something that really can enable people to speak with more clarity and more confidence. So that is my intention.
I love that. So how do you imagine bringing this to those people? Is the long-term goal to set up some sort of training facility or to offer something online? Like, this is very you're right. It is a huge, huge fear, even for English speaking people. Many of the people that I see in my clinic are here for some sort of, fear of public speaking or communicating, or they're self-judging, or there's some sort of shame around things. So this could be something that would be beneficial to all kinds of people. So yeah, tell me more.
Tell you more. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would love to work with anyone who is interested in feeling more confident when they're speaking in public, whether they're actors or business owners or just people that need to communicate in a different, maybe in different language or the same language, it doesn't matter. Just for more confidence, clarity, and intelligibility. Uh, at the moment, I'm in the process of becoming my facilitation training. I'm hoping to get this done by this May. And I'm working on connecting with different professionals who are also in the arena of public speaking and voice training. Yesterday, I had a really interesting meeting with two university professors. So we'll see where that brings me. But that is definitely something, a career path that I'm developing. and working really professionally and seriously about it. Yeah.
So cool. So do you think that the fact that you've already set up and, systematized and figured out how to get CleanCa off the ground, that's going to kind of help build into this? Is that feeding into this entrepreneurial spirit that's running through your veins right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful for having started my cleaning business because and becoming a part of BNI. I think that was so significant for my trajectory because it gave me so much confidence. Because being an actor, very often it can feel very lonely, or you can have lots of self-doubt because you're auditioning, and you don't book. You don't book anything. You don't book anything. So there is not too much response. There is not too much reward. So I had to feed in some way. I didn't have to, but that's what happened. And it feels good when you're rewarded. So through having my cleaning business, I have something to give. People need that. I give that to them and I'm rewarded by them making their lives happier, better. And also there is a monetary reward, but it's that need. We have a human need to give ourselves, right? We all want to give ourselves in any way that we can, but very often, like in acting or maybe arts, you have so much to give, but there's no one on the other side to receive that. So it took me a while. I'm so grateful for owning the business because kind of I have this experience of being rewarded, being seen, filling on those needs that as a human being, we all have, right? So now I feel more confident that I can start this new adventure. Life is adventure.
Yes, life is an adventure. So, what have you learned from becoming an entrepreneur and being a business owner? Like, are there some lessons that you've kind of taken out of it?
Absolutely. So many. Move faster. Uh, it's not personal. Just keep on doing it. Um, I've learned so much about leadership, and obviously, I'm learning. I've learned lots about generosity. Um, I had short fumes before. That's what it's called. Like
A
when
short
you
fuse? You had a short fuse
fuse,
before?
fuse. Yeah, yeah. Short
Yeah.
fuse. I still do, but I'm I've learned how to be more generous. I come from the culture where I remember when I just started working at the restaurant here in Vancouver, and I would see a busser speaking to a patron like for 5 minutes, and the restaurant is crazy busy. And they're like just taking it slow, blah, blah, blah. In Croatia, we are like, you have to be excellent at whatever you're doing. There's no time. Like if you're working, you're working. And we get to, if we are angry at each other, we express that and then you move on. But here is like, it's different, right? I don't know how, I don't know how to explain that, but what was the question? Sorry. I think I went
Well,
sideways.
no, I mean it was open-ended about what you've taken away from learning this. So I'm kind of curious, did you take any of the elements of the Croatian ethics of, business and the way that it runs? And like, did you bring that with you and integrate it here?
I think I did.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would say high standards. Uh, in in CleanCa, I have three core values, which are transparency, accountability, trust. Transparency meaning that I really love to communicate the information so that both sides really understand what they're seeking. This is what you're seeking. This is what you're getting. Everything is on paper. I like to communicate clearly so there are no um, uncertainties. Um, Transparency in pricing, high standards of delivering cleaning services, always going above and beyond, always seek way to go above and beyond. Uh, it's it doesn't matter how you do anything, it's how you do everything. So it really doesn't matter what kind of job it is. Even, yeah. And then accountability, obviously transparency leads into accountability because we take accountability very seriously. And I think that those two uh, lead into the developing trust, which is the most important thing, I think, in our business, especially we are going into people's homes and it's something very private. So trust is extremely important. We are really literally entering people's intimate spaces. There has to be lots of trust.
Yeah. And so that transparency up front so that they know exactly what to expect. And then that there's the follow through, the accountability, what we expect and then what, is realized, that's what leads to this belief, right? That's what helps us to have the trust and the belief in the company and in the service, is that
Yeah.
when your expectations are actually realized. Because if you expect something and it doesn't happen, what's that? The fallout there is, disappointment, disillusionment, right? And that can lead to all
And you
kinds
know
of,
what? Honestly, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
when there is a mistake, when there is, fail out, accountability, it's a waste of time. A client is unhappy, then you have to justify the yourself, or you have to go back and clean again. It's just a waste of time and money. So just do it once and do it right.
Just do it once and do it right. I love that. Okay, cool. So, Martina, is there anything else, any thoughts or anything you'd like to leave with the listeners today that they could help model off of you?
Wow. Whoopsie. Uh, I'm a very curious person, which could be a good thing, and but it doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing. I'm very curious and I love to explore things. And I think that maybe I would love to speak to the immigrants who might be, at the start of their journey. Um, I would just love to tell them that not to give up and to go for what they desire because it's possible. Um, I don't want to say dreams. Just keep on going and have positive attitude. Just keep on going. Don't
Just keep
wait.
going.
Don't wait.
Yeah. Take action, take it now, and keep taking action.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we wrap it up here, anybody who wants to get in contact with Martina, I'm going to be leaving all of her details in the details below for the podcast. But because she is such a giver and she's so generous, she has offered to be a sponsor for this episode. So Martina, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you have in store for whoever gets to walk away with this awesome little bit of sponsorship?
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah. I'm so grateful to be part of your podcast, and I've listened to all the other podcasts. They're really great. So I was thinking, I wanted to give a giveaway of $100 voucher to someone who is ready to turn a new page in their lives. And sometimes it can start with their home. So I know that like this is what I've experienced or what I've learned through communicating with lots of different clients. Sometimes they feel uncomfortable, maybe even embarrassed. Oh, their place hasn't or their home hasn't been cleaned in such a long time. And it takes something from a person to finally make the decision. I'm turning a new page. I'm starting anew. And I want us to be give them that little bit of push by giving them $100 cleaning voucher and to help them out. Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Awesome. So we'll put the details of this contest on our social media for the Modeling Success in
Yeah.
Action podcast. So if you want to participate in this, if you're ready for a fresh start, and maybe this is the little push you've needed to hear that, you know what, it doesn't matter what stage or state your house is in, that, you know, it's never too late. I mean, the longer you sit on it, it's like that, you know, moldy yogurt on the underside of the couch. You don't want it to fester for too long, right? Just get it out of there, get clean, go and be refreshed. So, all right, Martina, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for your generous sponsorship as well. I'm excited to see how that one turns out, and thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jessica. You have a wonderful day as well, and your listeners.